Everyone, I hope everybody's having a good December, and we'd like to welcome you to Young Adult Matters. Like always, I'm Amy, and we have Joe.
Not like always, no
No,
always.
yes, always. Or recently, always. And we have Joey again from a previous show.
Hello.
Thank you, Joey. And again, Miss Ivana from another previous show. So thank you guys for joining us today. I guess jumping right into it, we're in December. You know, it's Advent season. We're getting really, really close to Christmas, and so we're talking. Well, what is it? What else is there to talk about besides Christmas and Advent? Well, somebody's feast day is coming up very soon, and it's Our Lady of Guadalupe. We're like, well, what does the Virgin Mary have to do with it? Well, the Virgin Mary has a lot to do with it. So before we get into Our Lady of Guadalupe specifically, let's just talk about Our Lady in general and pretty much what she did. So can you share pretty much what Our Lady plays in your daily life? What role does she play?
Well, I think Our Lady in general, but specifically Our Lady of Guadalupe, you know, she's the Mother of God, and understanding that she was prepared before she was born, and we know that through the Feast of the Immaculate Conception, that before she was even born, there was her place, the Toctectos, or can't pronounce Greek very well, but the Christ bearer. You know, she was going to be the person that brought the Son of Man, the Lord, into this world. You know, and so understanding her place, you know, and her place is prepared is very important. You know, we know she's not just another lady, or yeah, she's just the Mother of God. I've heard sometimes in conversation, just oh, well, she's just the Mother of God. I'm like, just the Mother of God. Oh, okay, you know, you just picked a random lady. Oh yeah, you're going to be the Mother of God. But you know, she's Our Lady is the Mother of God, and we need to respect that and honor it and venerate to that.
And to say that she's just a random lady kind of like maybe pokes fun to me, at least what I think of God's plan, because God has a plan for all of us. Mm-hmm. And to say, oh, you know, it's just some random lady. I mean, God selected her. God chose her for exact reason. And so the way she did it humbly, and I know one of our traditions in our families, well, we haven't done it recently, but we also always put up the nativity scene, a little nativity scene right at the front of our house. And it's something that, you know, as you walk in, you get to see, and you get to remind yourself that it's not about, you know, Christmas. It's not about Santa, the Christmas tree. It's about the nativity scene, the birth of Jesus.
Mm-hmm. And all that begins, you know, when the angel of the Lord went to Mary and said, you know, you're going to be the Mother of God, and she accepted humbly, and she accepted willingly, not knowing, and you know that she had questions, much like I'm sure we have questions in our daily life. She had questions, and she said yes. You know, she said yes, and that's something to celebrate.
What I also think about, what I think about when I think about Mary, well, Our Lady, is how humble she was to actually be the Mother of God. You know, she did not know God's plan at all for her, and so she just simply said yes and humbled herself through the whole process. And it was kind of beautiful to see, because she didn't say a word. You know, when they talk about Our Lady in the Bible, like, she doesn't say much at all. And so it's a reminder to myself, you know, that, oh, I don't have to talk all the time. You know, I can be humble. I need to humble myself, and, you know, to get others to Christ. And she's like my little protector, you know, my little mother, my little angel. And so she really helps me to get throughout the day, to know that, Mama, you know, help me. You know, actually, I learned from one of my friends, my mother's friends, actually. Every time you think of Mother Mary, put your hand on your cheek. And so a couple of times, you know, when you're scared, just say, Mom, help me. Mama, help me. And so that's really stuck with me throughout the years, is, you know that when you're not with your physical mom, your actual mom, you know, you can have help from your mama upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
So
spiritual mom.
Your spiritual mom, exactly.
And the fact that she did it at such a young age, I know oftentimes we forget about how old she was and how young she was, excuse me. And we forget, you know, that she did it at such a young age, and that she was so young. And it kind of inspires me, because usually as a young individual, you think, oh, you know, when I'm older. Yeah. I'll do things when I'm older. And the fact that, you know, she did it at such a young age inspires me that, you know, the time's now to start young, to build to when you get older.
And the fact that, you know, we never know when God is going to call us, or when God is calling us to something to something great, or just He's calling us to something. And again, the example, the willingness, and the, He's not just going to come with the when we're super holy or whatever. He's going to come and call us when He needs us, and that acceptance that Mary showed it's wonderful. It's no way around it.
So I guess now that we've kind of identified who she is and what we know and what we know about her, there's, just to clarify, it's the same. We talk about different apparitions. Here in the valley, we deal a lot with Our Lady of San Juan del Valle, and we deal a lot with Our Lady of Guadalupe. And each have our different devotions. For example, I have a huge thing for Our Lady of Sorrows and Our Lady of Mount Carmel. Yeah. I tend to get it. I pronounce it wrong. And so Our Lady of Fatima, Our Lady of Lourdes, it's all the same. It's all the same person. And sometimes that's hard to believe. Well, how? She also it's beautiful to see it adapts to our culture. Going into Our Lady of Guadalupe, they call her La Morena, because she's our skin tone. She's not what you see in other apparitions. There's an apparition in China, and she looks like the people from the country, but it's the same lady. It's the same person. There's no different Virgin Marys. It's the same person. And so going to Our Lady of Guadalupe, why do you think she's so common within our culture? Is it just because she appeared in Mexico and it's so close to us that we see it so much, and some of us grew up with it? I'm going to share with you something very, very simple. I used to be terrified of Our Lady of Guadalupe because it was just something that my dad's culture didn't accept. And I was like, no, this lady, no, I can't love her, I can't accept her. Well, who is she? And so little by little, I started getting older. I became more educated on who she was and what she did and what role she played. And it's she's not bad at all. She's a beautiful woman, like you said, that gave her life completely. So why do you think she's so important in our Hispanic culture? Because it's amazing, so young, and to imagine if she appeared to you,
Well, I think the one thing that really ties our culture into it is the fact that she did appear in Mexico. It was of course, it's not the Mexico that we know today. It's in 1531, but she appeared in Mexico, and that's being Mexican American. There's a tie, but beyond that, she's been declared the patron of the Americas, not North and South, but of the whole Western Hemisphere. She's the one that was sent by God to evangelize, because since her apparition and before that, there hasn't been a bigger evangelization or call to conversion or caused by it but her. It's amazing how in a matter of days, thousands and thousands and thousands of indigenous people converted to Catholicism. And what's interesting also is that they converted to Catholicism when they were being oppressed, they were being conquered, and they converted to a faith that not even their conquerors truly followed, because when we know that through history in the sense of how they conquered all these people, if they were truly Christian, they were truly Catholic, they would have gone about it a different way, in a just way. We know that from the church teaching on the dignity of life, but also, these people they converted. They converted thousands and thousands of baptisms, and we haven't seen any evangelization since. So it without the apparition and without the missionaries from Spain that came over, what would our faith be? A lot of the conversion that happened, if we trace our lineage, could be attributed to this event that happened over 400 years ago.
And I think what was made it so evangelizing was the way she came. She came in our image, she came humbly, and the fact that she came in that way helped inspire, the indigenous people. And the indigenous people oftentimes they practice religion of sightseeing. They have a god for the sun, they see the sun. They have a god for the water, they see the water. And so the fact that maybe like a doubting Thomas kind of thing, they needed to visualize. And so I think that's why it played such an important role that she came, the way she came, to show, and humbly she came. I mean, she came to Juan Diego.
Yeah.
Saint Juan Diego. He wasn't even really hiding mighty in his own society. And the fact that she appeared to him was kind of something that inspired, I think, the culture there. And
the fact that of the images that we have of Our Lady, this is the only self-image. We sometimes we see that image, we see the image of Lourdes, of Mount Carmel, and they're all beautiful images of Our Lady, but all of them except for Our Lady of Guadalupe have been what somebody saw, and then they told an artist, and then it was portrayed. Okay, this is what it looked like. Okay, or it's kind of close. But Our Lady of Guadalupe, we see it in the tilma of San Juan Diego. It was, she presented herself. She showed herself, the image, and the image is, the tilma is still, it's still there. It hasn't deteriorated. It's made out of like fibers, like
it's like sack material.
Yeah, from the earth and vegetable. And it's still there. You would think that something that would seem to be biodegradable would have been in 400 years. But there's so many mysteries that are wrapped up with the tilma. You see the image of Our Lady, but if you get close, the color's gone. The color, the image is not on the tilma, but it's from the tilma. And so that mystery, that I think all of that, there's no way to explain it except that it's from God. And then, of course, we can spend all day talking about the different mysteries that are within the tilma. But
I know one is talking about some of the mysteries. I was very blessed. It was in Our Lady of Sorrows a couple of weeks back, and they had a speaker, and it was the doctor that studied the eyes of Our Lady in the actual apparition, like the tilma itself. So, I mean, it has to be tested before it's approved by the church. They don't just approve everything willy-nilly kind of thing. And so he was there, and he spoke what he studied and why he studied and how in-depth he got. And it was just the pure eyes, just the eyes. And it broke down on what one eye saw and what the other eye saw. And how, like, the human eye works. And this is a part of the eye, and this is what you're supposed to do, and this is what her eye did. And who exactly was in that eye. So it was about a family, an Indian, as well as the governor, if I'm right, and the bishop. So it positioned them through each, and it's crazy to see those kind of things. You're like, this is real, like this is reality, like. But sometimes, again, like we have to. That's where our faith kicks in. This. I mean, it's the Mother of God, and God allowed her to come to this earth and show herself in a very humbling way. So I have a next question for y'all. You said something about defending life. I know some of us are in the pro-life movement, and this is more towards Ivana. But how does she play a role? And anybody can answer, obviously. But how does she play a role in your life when it comes to the pro-life movement? Because I know she is actually the patron saint for the unborn, and there's a huge devotion for her asking for her help, because she's the only apparition that's pregnant. Mm-hmm. And hence the black lace around her stomach. If you see on her stomach, there's a black ribbon. So, I mean, does she play a huge role in your pro-life movement as your life? Because I know there's different definitions of what pro-life actually means.
Well, I think it's just a matter of knowing how precious life is. And, when you're a mother, like you're carrying a baby, like, you're carrying a little baby in your womb. And so it's very precious. And so I think Our Lady is humbling. It's just very humbling to see her. Like you said, she's the only one that has like the apparition that she's pregnant. And so it's very, I don't even know, like it's so amazing to see how she just plays a huge role simply because she's pregnant. That's one. And then another thing is because she is like the spokesperson for the unborn. And we go to her for our prayers. I mean, we even have like a Hail Mary, like named after her, like Hail Mary, full of grace. And so it's kind of like seeing her in our lives, she just fits right in. It's, when you think about your mother, at home, like, oh, hey mom, like, what's up? Well, things like that. She fits right in because since we're born from our mothers, it's just kind of like, it's the puzzle piece that just fits.
Yeah, and you know what? An important thing to highlight and to say is that Mary leads us to Christ. Yeah. Everything all the apparitions, everything, Our Lady of Guadalupe leads us to Christ.